When I'm in elementary school, we read a book called When Hitler Stole the Pink Rabbit. It was about a Jewish girl in Germany, her non-Jewish friend, and the truth they painfully learn about the pre-war reality around them. And it was about the pink plush rabbit that one day disappears, just as will the little Jewish girl. Later on, another book is assigned. This one about a German boy during World War II who tries to make sense of his father leaving the home as a soldier, about the friends at his school having to wear a yellow Star of David, and how eventually the town he lives in gets bombarded by planes. We read other books too in school. These are the only two I remember. Their stories brew inside me, sputter from time to time, and feelings of shame, anger, and a sense of bewilderment overtake me. About 45 minutes north of Hanover, where I grew up, is Bergen-Belsen, the former concentration camp. It is here that Anne Frank perished. We read her diary in school, I'm sure, and one day my class goes on a field trip to Bergen-Belsen. My daughter goes on field trips to the Bardavon Opera or the Mohonk Preserve. But growing up in Germany, I find myself on a bus to the grounds of a former concentration camp. The trip there leads through small towns and lots of countryside. Birch trees and heather are the features I remember, lots of wild heather. The grounds of the memorial site are extensive, but there's nothing here. The buildings have been destroyed after liberation, so beyond a few stone ruins, there's nothing to help your imagination. Once again, it's the emptiness that serves as a commemorative marker, like the absence of the Jews that I had grown up with. The small exhibit in the visitor center, though, is at once graphic and academically detached. I'm drawn in as much as I'm overwhelmed. I wish I could understand where I am, but I don't. I look at the trees, sand, and heather, and I see beauty, quiet, peace. I look at the photos on the wall, and I see the most frightening thing I can imagine. Yet it is not a monster out of a horror movie that you would run away from. No, it is a human thing that I haven't yet met. Horror perpetrated by German men and women. For what reason? The crazy juxtaposition of our trip to the peaceful countryside and the glimpse down the abyss in the exhibit room has me confused, almost angry. I am too young to understand. How could this have been possible? How could people go this far and no one stop them? Why did it have to be my country that perpetrated all these crimes? Though that is a question that comes later, when I would give a lot not to be blonde and blue-eyed and want to say, oh, I'm from Sweden, when asked where I'm from. At 22, I leave Germany for good to make my life in a new language that isn't burdened by shame. American English comforts me. It sounds rolls self-assuredly, leisurely, and promise freedom, humor, peace of mind. I moved to Amherst, Massachusetts, where I've come to study representations of the Holocaust with a Jewish professor. His letter of acceptance is my entry ticket to the land of my dreams. He is entirely too handsome and Jewish for me to feel comfortable around him. My need to impress hinders my ability to participate, let alone be real or build bridges. For it is bridges I want to build. I have great plans of bringing Jews and Germans together from the two sides of the divide, the rupture that the Holocaust created in the fabric of our lives, though to such impossibly different degrees. But I am afraid. My shame is too great, and I hide behind other people's research as I plagiarize yet another paper. I'm tongue-tied around him because I really want him to hold me, desire me, tell me that I am intelligent, warm, loved, that I am a good German. While at UMass, I interviewed German and Austrian Jewish refugees about their experiences and the new life they have made for themselves. I also become friends with a lively Israeli woman who runs the Jewish Community Center, Hillel House. She embraces me, tells me about devouring Nietzsche when training for the army in the mountains of Israel. We share a love of many things, and for the first time, I feel the warmth of truly being seen and accepted for who I am by someone whose verdict matters most to me, a Jewish person. I later moved to New York City. The reality in my home of choice is that I have no health insurance, no savings left, and no work when I used to go on vacation. And yet, my favorite thing to do is board the ferry to Staten Island. After I get there, I turn right around and right back. It's the trip that matters, of course. Right past my favorite statue of all time, Lady Liberty, Mother of Exiles. I stand on the north side of the boat and gaze at her, just her and me, like mother and daughter. I whisper Emma Lazarus's poem, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free," and feel the reality of my own dream. I don't feel German anymore. I don't feel American either. After my daughter is born, I'm unable to speak German to her. It's as if I'm learning English all over again with her. The nursery rhymes I didn't grow up with, the full meaning of "I love you," the sweet simplicity of first words. But I should be teaching her German. Children who grow up bilingual are smart. They'll pick up other languages in a cinch, everyone says. I know. I studied 5 languages in high school and thought I'd be an interpreter one day. How I was looking forward to raising a child in 2 or more cultures. But I can't do it. The language of my childhood doesn't want to come out. I try to say, "I love you" in German, "Ich liebe dich," but it feels strange. Not to mention my self-consciousness on the playground. So she and I stick to English and babbling. I'm a mother who speaks English and a daughter who speaks German. Once I have moved here, I relish crossing the street when the light is red. I need to be late to work or meetings, at least occasionally, because Germans are always on time. I forge expiration dates on student IDs or hiking passes just for the thrill of being a rebel. There's so many German stereotypes I'm trying to shed, although some of them, aloofness, lack of tact, stick like burrs, even in my intimate relationships. But there's one thing that I will never shed. The fact that I don't like uniforms, flags, or any display of patriotism. When my daughter has to recite the Pledge of Allegiance in school before she can even read, I bristle. It makes me uneasy to see people rise when the national anthem is played. I feel like I know where it can lead, feel the potential for danger even in this country. Especially after 9/11, the jingoist rhetoric in the news is sickening. I think of how quickly virtue can become vice and pride become arrogance. In a powerful nation such as this one, with its halo of innocence, it can all happen again, can't it?